Hey, I'm Janae, and you're in the Gen Zone. Donald Trump is coming back to Twitter. This is perfect timing. Trevor Noah is leaving The Daily Show, and Trump is tweeting again. Finally, funny has returned. Sorry, Trevor. Love you. After completing the purchase of Twitter for $44 billion, Tesla founder Elon Musk made restoring Trump's Twitter fingers his first order of billionaire business. It is strange. Elon has weaned almost a whole generation off of fuel, but somehow finds the value in gassing up old cars. The Donald. It's like a muscle car from the 50s, but without muscles. A lot of people bought those old heaps, but eventually realized they were too big and bad for the environment. But you know what? I say let OG Little Hands type whatever he wants wherever he wants.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands?
We keep it 100 on the Gen Zone. And I prefer the people in power to keep it 100 too. So we all know what time it really is. Don Don's honesty had many of us rolling, but most importantly, revealed that without a doubt, racism and nonsense is alive and well in America.
It's alive!
A lot of folks needed that wake-up call. Ever since, everyone stopped pretending that everything's okay, and we began facing these social and cultural battles head on. Speaking of battles,
Biden warning of Armageddon if Vladimir Putin uses a tactical nuclear weapon to try to win the war on Ukraine, saying, quote, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis."
Is World War III upon us? Because it feels like that's what Biden is implying. Media pundits went straight into hysteria, as did my auntie.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
Once nuclear weapons fall into the same sentence as Putin, Iran, North Korea, the media starts pressing their life alert button.
One touch of a button can get you help fast.
They jump straight to scary-ass worst-case scenarios. That would be like your spouse coming to you and saying, honey, we need to talk. And you responding, who did you get pregnant?
The baby mama from hell.
Or like your boss coming to you and saying, hey, I need to talk to you after lunch. And you go, oh, I quit.
I quit.
Like, relax. It could have been about a raise. Exactly. The worst case scenario. Stress is the #1 killer. It ages you. I don't want to be 34 looking like Orlando Brown. What makes me even more concerned are the rumors that find their way all over the internet. Rumors like Putin might be terminally ill and just doesn't give a what happens at this point. What are we supposed to do if a nuclear weapon is fired at us? Shelter in place, stop, drop, roll, pop, lock, drop it? Or just die? Wait a minute, would they even tell us if it was coming? I doubt it.
No. I bet you can't do it like me. No. I bet you can't do it like me. Gen Zone.
Round of applause. President Biden issued an executive order pardoning all prior federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. What's crazy is that some states actually want to fight it. I'll address that another time. But for right now, let's focus on this win. Moneybag Joe did the right thing, and families will be reunited.
Gen Zone.
You know, I laugh at things. I let things go, and I watch how people react to things. But this Nori Martinez bitch, I most definitely need to give my 2 cents about her. We've all heard about this raggedy-ass former LA City Council President Nori Martinez, who resigned from her position after a recording of her making anti-black statements leaked. Racism from a member of another marginalized group isn't surprising, but it's disappointing as hell, especially from an elected official who's supposed to be for the people. And the people spoke.
First of all, you, De Leon, Nori, and Cedillo. This whole meeting right here because it's illegitimate. The people are shutting this down afterwards. This whole thing is racist. The fact that they had the audacity to sit here in front of the people that they mocked, that they minimized, that they demonized, that they marginalized is unacceptable.
Really, Miss Martinez? You're a Latino woman calling a black boy changuito? And just in case you tuned out in your Urban Spanish 101, changuito means little monkey. Don't you know how many Latinos have black blood in their veins? You're the pot calling the kettle monkey. It's sad to see somebody who we thought was a representative for the so-called black and brown coalition turn out to be just a brown noser for white supremacy. Yeah, I said it, white supremacy.
White power! Nigger power!
But this is good to know. What's also good to know is that this gerrymandering ass was trying to redistrict the city so that she and her like-minded cronies can control the neighborhoods. And look, I'm all for representation. I want every race to be in positions of power, especially in Los Angeles, where the Latino population is 93%. Now, here is something that nobody can dispute. Nori Martinez would have had a much harder time getting elected without both black and brown support. So please, put some respect on all of our names. On behalf of all voters, we thank you for your fake-ass apology, but we really thank you for leaving the city council. Ugh. On a more happy note, shout out to LA County District Attorney George Gascon for being with the blacks, according to Nori Martinez. I say, if a racist has a problem, you must be actually playing it fair. And as a district attorney, that must be hard.
Genzo.
Not enough coverage was given to my homegirl, Stacey Abrams. She gave the smack down to the host of Fox News the other day. Now, the producers, they thought they were cute, and they tried to set candidate Abrams up, but she didn't come out to play. Apparently, they tried to call her a hypocrite about refusing to concede the 2018 gubernatorial election, which she lost to Brian Kemp.
In 2018, I acknowledged that he was the victor of the vote. When I say we won, I'm speaking to the National Action Network, which works with marginalized and disadvantaged groups. Our campaign proved that we won by getting more people involved in the process.
Now, on the surface, the Fox News host had a point. Abrams refusing to concede made it look like she was doing the same thing as you-know-who. They were making a strong case for this, but
Everything that guy just says, bull.
as most of us already knew, she didn't say the election was wrongly decided, and she didn't ask anyone to find her votes. Let's just listen to what she said exactly.
But we cannot seize it until all voices are heard. And I promise you tonight, we're going to make sure that every vote is counted.
Then she explained what voter suppression really is. Ms. Abrams said it's more than just stopping people from voting. It's making it difficult or damn near impossible for some people to vote. Her entire point is that as governor, she will eliminate the politics and make sure everyone can vote. And we stand with you, Stacey.
Genzo.
In other news, Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama didn't disappoint any white supremacists this week. Usually when a politician speaks and has racist dog whistles interlaced in his speech or proposed policies, we would spend the next few weeks being gaslit by the mainstream media trying to make us question what it is they really meant. But then this guy comes along and makes his meaning crystal clear.
People say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bull.
Who is they? Let's get it straight. They means the Democratic Party. Then Tommy continued with his George Wallace speech. Oh, wait. Does Gen Z know who George Wallace is? No, not that one. This George Wallace.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
George Wallace was Alabama's governor for 16 years, and Tuberville appears to be a not-so-secret fan. Senator Tuberville continued saying that they were coming for your things, and that the Democrats are not soft on crime, but they're actually pro-crime. Then said, they want reparations for the people that do crime.
What?
Hold up. The only people that are asking for reparations are black people, and the people that commit crime are called criminals. But clearly, this senator believes only black people commit crimes, and believes that his white voting base believe that black people are all criminals as well. That explains everything I already knew about Alabama. No offense to the good apples in Alabama, but you already know where you live. Y'all's history is atrocious. And this country-ass football coach turned senator who talks like he has CTE when he hasn't played football since 1476 ain't making y'all look no better. The stereotype that black people have a thirst for crime is as old as slavery, and one of the main reasons that we demand and deserve reparations. And honestly, it's pretty played out. Like, really? Y'all can't come up with anything new? The same old crime, chicken, and watermelon jokes century after century. The projection is real. It's so hilarious to watch someone who is literally a member of a group who have committed some of the most heinous and significantly obvious crimes on American soil pretend it's all on us. Keep spouting that shit though. Your time is up, and that's why y'all all scared. Keep showing yourselves for how you truly are. But before you go, cut the check. You owe every single one of us, convicted felons included, about $3 trillion in unpaid and underpaid labor, lost wages, opportunity costs, pain and suffering, cruel and unusual torture, human rights violations, intellectual property theft, land theft, medical malpractice, and cold-blooded murder. Cut the goddamn check.
We want our reparations, cut the check. Not falling for your bull, this time screw that. If you want to gain our trust, earn our votes. Give us a 40 acres or a tall stack of seed notes. Genzo.
It's time for QAnon conspiracies. I've been watching Q pop back up in the world since his little hiatus. Maybe he's been hiding out, or he's been on vacation for the last 18 months. Or maybe Q figured he got his message of conspiracies across to the right people so he could finally relax. I mean, look at our government. Just 5 years ago, QAnon was an online dark web thing only. And in 2020, over 100 Q followers ran for elected office. 2 actually won, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. So far this year, 78 Q followers are running for office around the country. 15 of them have won their primaries. This should be the conspiracy theory. People should sound crazy when they say things like, Hillary Clinton and your favorite movie stars are blood-drinking pedophiles.
You know the establishment, the pedophile, child rapist, human blood drinkers who worship Lucifer.
Or, President Obama will end up in Guantanamo Bay military prison this weekend.
No matter what you do, do not let him out.
Or, my state senator and congressmen are working in D.C. on installing Trump as the elected king.
I am the chosen one.
You see my point? I'll get into vaccines and the Clintons and how apparently all of our presidents are cousins. Trust, when I say there's a lot out there and it's crazy. Or is it?
Genzo.
2024 seems so far away, but it's really not. And we wanted to see what the presidential election could look like. We had our correspondent ask the public what they thought. Let's check it out.
How do you feel about Trump? Do you think if Trump runs again, will Trump win?
No, impossible.
Of course he does. You know, I'm a Navy vet, and when we were at peacetime and Obama's time when I was in the Navy and stuff like that, like I was getting paid less, and then when you get a Republican office, we get paid more. Okay, so I can feed my family more because I happen to be in the military. Do I condone everything that they do? Absolutely not, but I think it's bullshit anyway. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not all good and bad.
I mean, I hope not. I'm going to vote against it, but there's only so much I can do.
I think he has a high chance to win.
Why?
He's just underestimated. He has more support than what I feel like we think he has. And he has the money to raise for all the campaigning and all that. So I definitely think he can win.
He almost won the first time.
With this country the way it's going, yeah, he probably did.
Do you think Biden has a chance to to go for a second term?
I think he's going to run. I hope he doesn't win, though. I think he's horrible. He's been a horrible president. He hasn't done anything that he said he was going to do. And honestly, if it came down to Trump and Biden, I probably would vote for Trump. And a lot of people don't. I don't like Trump as a person, but I like him. I like Trump because I think more than any other president we've ever had in the office, he's the most honest,
yeah, transparent
person. Yeah. And if him being real and honest shows that he's a jackass, then that's what it is.
We know who we getting.
We know who we getting.
Whether Republican, Democrat, you're going to do some good, you're going to do some bad.
Right.
And so you vote on the politics that resonate with you and your life and your loved ones. That's all you can do. No one's all bad, no one's all good.
So you think black people going to come out and vote for him this time?
Probably so, yeah, I do.
If Joe Biden doesn't run for president in 2024, should Vice President Kamala Harris run?
Are you kidding?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to have a woman president. Hell yeah, let's get on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, God, no.
Not really, no.
That would truly be the end of the United States.
I don't think anybody'd vote for her. She's a joke, and so is Biden.
She's unqualified. I don't believe in a cop running for president.
Kamala Harris has a lot of past history with really messing with minorities and housing them for petty crimes such as marijuana and all that.
She doesn't seem like she's very nice. If it was against him and Harris, yeah, probably.
Everybody from my family is going to vote for President Trump.
Do you know who Ron DeSantis is?
No. I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here first. May the odds ever be in your favor.
Genzo.
Today we are speaking with Rodney Harrison, former NYPD Chief of Patrol and current Commissioner of Suffolk County Police Department. Commissioner Harris has over 30 years of experience in law enforcement, and he really does everything you see only the police officers in movies do. He is the definition of RoboCop. Mr. Harrison, welcome to the Gen Zone.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, of course. Well, we're going to jump right into it, being the professional that you are with over 30 years of experience in law enforcement. You've seen it all. And, you know, people are trying to say that right now we're living in the purge. Are the crime numbers really jumping, or is the media just overhyping it?
Well, if you ask me, the media somewhat tries to make the numbers worse than they are. The truth of the matter is this, and I just talk about New York City, shooting incidents and violent crimes are down. They do have a spike when it comes to overall crime. But overall, I want to say that New York City has seen a decrease in non-fatal shootings and homicides and those type of crimes. The concern is property crimes. Property crimes is on the rise, not only in New York City, but also in Long Island. And that could be contributed to so many different factors. But does that mean that there's a purge going on? No, absolutely not. It just means that we have to do a better job of finding ways to identify those individuals that are committing these low-level crimes, these property crimes, and holding them accountable. But as regards to a purge, there's no purge going on.
That is good to know. Thank you very much. You have just reassured all of us who have been tuning into social media and seeing them, kind of falsify the numbers. So speaking of social media, do you feel like it has made the law enforcement job easier or harder?
Well, it goes both ways. One of the things that we like to share on social media is our working with the community, working with the youth, working with the elderly, getting information out to the residents of the different communities, letting them know exactly what's going on. So that's the way it's been beneficial. But also there's been incidents where that very small percentage of police officers might have done something where they could have done a little bit of a better job. And that incident goes viral and unfortunately damages the relationships that we're building. So the one thing I will ask is, don't take that one officer and paint a broad brush on all law enforcement. The truth of the matter is this: a lot of great work is being done, not just identifying criminals and holding them accountable, but also the relationships that we're building out here in New York and making sure we're working together to make all the communities safer going into the future.
Absolutely. And speaking of relationships, you mentioned some of the work that you guys do in the community. Do you have any ideas for how you can bridge the gap between law enforcement and the communities that call for defunding the police?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I learned during my time in New York City is it just can't be a couple of officers that are working with the communities and trying to build those relationships. It has to be everybody. It's not hey, let's get a community affairs officers and go into the communities. We also need to get our sector cops, our patrol officers, getting out of the radio cars, going to establishments and making sure that they're building those relationships. That's the important part. Getting everybody involved into making sure there's a better and stronger relationships with all the officers in those local departments, those local precincts. So you've seen some of the great work of neighborhood policing in New York City. You've seen some reform plans in Suffolk County regarding our park walk and talk, taking the officers out of the cars, going to the different religious institutions, businesses, community centers, getting to know the residents, and making sure there's an intimacy going forward.
I like those. Those sound really good. So after what happened in Uvalde, Texas, law enforcement around the country has now had to plan for the unthinkable. What are you doing in Suffolk County to plan for these types of occurrences?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of different active shooter drills, responding to different locations, sensitive locations that have that potential of somebody coming and committing some type of criminal act of violence, be it a school, be it a house of worship. The most important thing that we can learn is our response. How do we respond and how are we working to make sure we stop the threat in a timely manner? And it starts with doing the appropriate drills with the right individuals, with all the partners in law enforcement in that community, and making sure everybody's on board, just in case, unfortunately, if an incident does happen to occur.
That is great to hear. So my biggest question is that, I don't believe that any police officer goes out with the intent to kill anyone, right? I don't believe that, white police officers have a murderous intent to shoot a black man. However, I do have a lot of male members in my family. And what's the best advice that I could give a male member so that a basic encounter with the police doesn't end up with them being shot?
Yeah, so, the one thing that I will say is cooperate. The officers do happen to engage different individuals. Unfortunately, there's no crystal balls that to say who's committing the criminal act and who's not. And police officers quite often may ask for some type of identification or something just to make sure that the person that they're engaging at that time is not the one committing that criminal act. And the one advice I give to my friends and my family, as well as my children, is listen, if you are ever engaged, if you're ever pulled over, make sure you keep your hands on the steering wheel, have your identification accessible, provide it to the officer, answer all the questions, and everything will go according to plan.
And comply.
Of course, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Is there anything that you wanted to share with us that you may have learned working with the law enforcement for as long as you have that you don't feel like our generation or even our race are keen to?
Yeah, well, so the one thing that I would like to share is, doing 30 years in the New York City Police Department, and now my time in Suffolk County, police officers want to have those relationships. They want to work with the communities. We understand the importance of, in order for us to make neighborhoods safe, we have to have those relationships with the community. I think sometimes that one incident that goes viral on social media may hinder or hurt those relationships that have been built. But it's important that, once again, I'll say this like I stated before, don't paint all law enforcement with a broad brush from one incident that might have happened across the country. You know, the truth of the matter is this: 99% of the police officers out there are doing a phenomenal job, putting their life on the line and making communities safe.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your bravery, and thank you for the years that you have put in to make the community safe. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Commissioner Harrison.
Thank you so much for having me.
Genzo.
Well, that's all the time we have today. I want to give a special thank you to Commissioner Harrison for joining us. I also want to thank our public for sharing their valuable opinions, and most importantly, you for forming your own. Don't forget to vote in your local elections. I'm John A., and you've been in the Gen Zone.